Welcome to the deep dive. We streamline information, giving you what you need to, stay informed. If you're learning English, you probably know this feeling all too well. You're in a conversation, it's moving fast, you know exactly what you want to say, but your brain just hits a wall.
Right.
You have to first think of it in your native language, then translate it, and by the time you've done all that mental juggling, the moment's gone. Conversation moved on.
Oh, absolutely. That internal translator,
Mm-hmm.
it's honestly the biggest hurdle to real fluency, kills spontaneity. So our mission today is really to dive deep into how to get rid of that step. We want to train your brain to think directly in English, just like a native speaker does, because that's really the only way speaking gets easier, listening becomes faster, and communication just flows.
Okay, let's unpack that. Before we jump into the how, maybe we should really understand why this is such a big deal. What's the actual cost of using that mental middleman?
Well, it's fundamentally mechanical, When you translate, your brain is basically working twice as hard. It forms the sentence, the idea, the vocabulary in language A, and then it has to do this super quick high-pressure switch into language B, and it's that time, that energy shifting between the two, that's the delay you feel.
Right. And it's not just about speed, is it? That translation process often introduces those slightly awkward phrases or mistakes that just scream non-native.
Precisely, yeah, we see that constantly with word-for-word translation. Take feeling cold. Many languages say something like, I have cold, structurally. Translate that directly and you get, I have cold in English, which, well, it sounds unnatural, instead of the native, I am cold.
Hmm.
Thinking directly just bypasses that whole linguistic trap. Your brain learns to build the sentence the way English speakers naturally do.
Okay, so when you manage to ditch that translator, the benefits are actually pretty huge. The sources we looked at point to four really key advantages.
Yeah, the first one is the most obvious. Faster speaking and fluency. Simple as that. When your brain thinks in English, the words just come out. They aren't stuck in that translation queue, those long, kind of confidence-killing pauses. They start to disappear.
And faster speaking naturally feeds into the second point, right? Which is boosted confidence.
Exactly. You stop sweating the small stuff, like getting the sentence perfectly constructed. You just focus on getting the idea across. That takes so much pressure off, and conversations start feeling, well, natural, smooth.
Mm-hmm. And something maybe less obvious, but really important, is how it helps listening skills.
Oh, massively. When your brain isn't constantly trying to translate what it's hearing, it can actually process the conversation in real time. Watching movies, listening to music. It all gets easier because you recognize words instantly. No mental lag.
And finally, it even ties into better pronunciation, which seems maybe counterintuitive at first.
A little, yeah, but it makes sense. When you're thinking in English, you're sort of hearing the sounds correctly in your head first. That internal model, that awareness, it translates directly into how you actually shape the sounds when you speak. It's like an internal fine-tuning.
Okay, so the benefits are clear. But here's the fascinating part you mentioned earlier. Many learners feel that delay, but they don't actually realize they're doing specific things that keep the problem going.
Exactly. Identifying those habits, those almost unconscious self-sabotages.
Yeah.
That's really step one to breaking free.
Right. So let's break down the four biggest mistakes people make. The first one sounds pretty straightforward. Over-reliance on translation.
It is straightforward, but it's pervasive. If you always default back to your native language for thinking, your brain never gets the chance to build those direct English pathways. It's kind of like trying to ride a bike but refusing to ever take the training wheels off. You have to risk wobbling a bit. You've got to let go of that safety net and trust your brain to start forming sentences directly in English.
Okay, that makes sense. Mistake number two. Overthinking grammar while you're trying to speak.
Oh, this is a big one. Look, grammar is important, obviously. It's the structure. But if you're constantly stopping mid-sentence to mentally double-check verb tenses or prepositions, you just grind to a halt.
Yeah.
Native speakers, we make mistakes all the time. Fluency comes from momentum and practice, not from achieving grammatical perfection in every single utterance.
Which leads right into the third trap, that paralyzing fear of making mistakes.
Absolutely. People get so hung up on sounding wrong or stupid that they just clam up. They stop thinking in English, or even worse, stop speaking altogether. We really need to reframe mistakes. They're not failures, they're just data points. They show you what you need to work on.
And the last one is more about the environment, isn't it? Lack of immersion.
Yeah. If English is just this thing you do in a classroom for a couple of hours a week, and the rest of your day, your thoughts, your media, everything's in your native language, your brain's just going to stick to the path of least resistance. It'll default back. You need that constant exposure, music, podcasts, reading, to make that internal switch feel natural, almost automatic.
Okay, so recognizing those traps is crucial. But that's only half the story, right? Now we need to move from spotting the problems to taking action. Let's get into the practical stuff. The sources lay out 6 really powerful strategies to start forcing that mental shift.
Right. And the first few are actually quite simple, low-effort ways to begin. Step 1, name and describe things around you in English. This is like a basic anchoring technique. Just look around. Desk, window, phone. Name them in English. But then quickly take it a step further. Describe a simple action. Don't just think coffee cup. Think, I am drinking coffee from my cup.
Okay, easy enough. Step 2 builds on that.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself in English, mentally.
Yeah, just narrate your own life silently in your head. No pressure. When you're cooking dinner, walking down the street, whatever. Just describe what you're doing in simple English. Okay, I'm chopping onions now. Or, it looks like it might rain. It's stress-free practice for forming sentences.
And step 3 you called a game changer. Use an English-to-English dictionary.
Yes. Seriously, ditch the translation dictionary as they keep you locked in that back and forth habit. When you look up a word, let's say excited, and you read the definition in English, feeling very happy and eager, something crucial happens. Your brain connects the word excited directly to the concept in English rather than routing it through your native language first. It keeps you in English mode.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the next 3 steps seem to focus more on actually constructing thoughts. Step 4, think in simple sentences first.
Exactly. This is about managing cognitive load. Don't try to translate complex, elaborate thoughts from your native language directly. You'll just get tangled up. Simplify. Break it down. What's the core message? Instead of, I suppose I really ought to head to the supermarket fairly soon because we've got guests coming for dinner and I haven't bought any vegetables yet. Just think, need vegetables? Go to store now.
Right, keep it direct. Step 5, cultivate an English inner voice. This sounds a bit more abstract.
It's about consciously shifting that internal monologue. The constant stream of consciousness we all have. Make that English. A good way to start is by asking yourself simple, practical questions in English during the day. Okay, what should I do next? Or how am I feeling about this task? Asking questions forces your brain to formulate answers in English.
Got it. And the final step, number 6, reinforces something we mentioned as a mistake. Immersion. But now it's an active strategy.
Precisely. Lack of it holds you back, but actively pursuing it pushes you forward.
Yeah.
You need to consciously maximize your daily English input. Podcasts, YouTube videos, articles, books, whatever you enjoy, the more English you pour in, the more automatic that internal switch becomes. It just reduces the effort needed to stay in English thinking mode.
Okay, those 6 strategies are powerful, but knowing them isn't quite enough, is it? Consistency is everything here.
It really is. We're talking about rewiring brain habits, creating new neural pathways. That takes regular practice. So the big question becomes, how do we make these techniques stick? How do we turn them into actual daily routines?
Right. And the sources suggest 5 specific daily exercises to build that habit muscle. First, start and end your day with English thoughts.
Yeah, use those moments as mental bookends. When you wake up, before you even get out of bed, think about your day in simple English. Okay, it's Tuesday, got that meeting at 10. Okay. And before you sleep, do a quick review. What did I actually do today? Talk to Sarah, finish that report. Simple stuff.
Okay. Second exercise. Set a no translation rule for at least 30 minutes a day. This sounds like a deliberate challenge.
It is. Pick a specific time slot, maybe your commute, your lunch break, while you're washing dishes, and make a conscious rule. Only English thoughts allowed.
If you find yourself struggling for a word, that's okay. The point is to force your brain to rely on its English resources, not immediately jump back to translating.
Third, taking that internal narration outside. Talk yourself out loud for a few minutes.
When you're alone, obviously. Just narrate simple actions out loud. Right, I'm making tea now. Boiling the water.
Saying it physically makes English feel more, tangible. It becomes part of your actual physical routine, not just a mental exercise.
Fourth, use English during simple, repetitive activities.
Yeah, activities that don't require a ton of brain power, like driving, jogging, maybe cooking something familiar. Use that available mental space to practice simple descriptive thoughts in English. Sky is blue today. This road is busy. Feeling pretty good.
And the 5th exercise, keep a simple English journal.
Doesn't have to be long essays. Just jot down a few thoughts, maybe your goals for the next day or how your day went. And the key here is expression, not perfection. Don't obsess over perfect grammar or spelling. Just focus on getting the thought down without translating it first.
These are great practical habits, but let's be realistic. People will hit roadblocks. They'll get frustrated. We should probably talk about overcoming those common challenges.
Absolutely. Let's tackle the big three. First challenge, you find yourself defaulting back to your native language, especially when you're tired or stressed.
Yeah, that feels inevitable sometimes.
It is. It's totally normal. The solution here is patience, really. Be kind to yourself, and maybe scale back your ambition for a moment. Don't try for complex thoughts. Just go back to basic single words, simple phrases in English, and keep using that English to English dictionary. It really helps anchor you.
Okay, challenge number 2. That feeling of being stuck to bait because you don't know a specific word. You're thinking in English, narrating, and bam, you hit a blank.
Right. And the temptation is to immediately switch back to translate or look it up. Don't. The solution is description. Keep the thought process going in English by describing the thing you can't name. If you forget the word whisk, think, I need that tool for mixing the eggs quickly. The goal is to stay in English. Even if it's slightly clunky, don't take the translation exit ramp.
Describe around it. I like that. Okay, third challenge, and this one can be tough. Losing motivation because progress feels so slow.
Yeah, this is tricky because progress is often slow and incremental. It's hard to notice day-to-day improvements. So the solution is to make your progress visible. You need to track it somehow. Keep that journal we mentioned. Or maybe record yourself speaking for a minute once a week. Then after a few weeks, go back and compare. Listen to yourself from week 1 versus week 4. You will notice a difference. You have to remember, thinking in English is a deep skill. Like any skill, reshaping it takes consistent, patient effort.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. We've talked about why translating is slow, the big wins from thinking directly in English, the common mistakes to avoid, and those 6 powerful strategies, plus daily habits to make them stick. The core message seems to be, start small, be consistent, and don't let the fear of mistakes stop you.
Exactly. And if
Yeah.
you zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Real fluency isn't just about learning more words or nailing every grammar rule. It's fundamentally about changing the internal wiring, shifting how your brain actually processes the language, moving from that two-step translation detour back to the direct single step of a native speaker.
So thinking about that direct step, what does this mean for you listening right now? Here's a thought. If you commit to that no translation rule for just 30 minutes every single day this week, what specific daily activity are you going to choose? Cooking, your commute, going for a walk, pick one right now. Designate it as your exclusive English thinking zone. Make that commitment today and start retraining your brain immediately.